This is the Stephen Hogan Podcast.
My sister and I were driving to our grandfather's funeral in Louisiana, and I glanced down for a second to change my iPod. This was in 2006, and there were bad ruts in the road on Highway 61. And when I glanced down, it shifted my car in the gravel, and I'm not blaming my sister, but she screamed really loud, and it startled me. And so I jerked the wheel and overcompensated, and we did a 360 in the highway and flipped, or my car landed on the right side. We slid across the highway and we flipped in the field 4 times and landed on the right side. And I was hanging in the air. My sister Holly was down below. And I just remember like crying out to God saying, please send your angels to help us. I was 27 at the time. Holly was 25. And I said, I'm not ready to die yet. I want to go to Europe and get married and have children. Like I was rattling off this list. And so a truck driver stopped, then a physical therapist and a preacher. And I said, I can't breathe, y'all. Y'all have got to flip the car over. And also I couldn't see anything. I had lost so much blood. Everything was just black. And Holly wasn't responding. Like I thought she had died. And then thank God, it felt like 5 minutes. I don't know how long it was, but she like was coming to. And they were able to push the car over. And I know that there were hidden angels there because like if you push a car over, it's going to slam down the ground, you know? And so, yes, we were finally on all fours on the ground. And then they called an ambulance and a life flight. It took 30 minutes to get there. They said, no, it took 45 minutes. And they said I shouldn't have lived over 30 minutes. I had lost 6 pints of blood. And I broke my left collarbone, back, pelvis, tailbone, ribs. My colon ruptured, broke both of my hips, had shattered my right femur and had a compound fracture. And they put us in separate life flights and life flighted us to the Med in Memphis, Tennessee.
And during that, you got to go have a special spiritual experience.
Yes. Well, that was right after the wreck when they took me out of the car. They used the jaws of life. They put me on the stretcher. And I felt like there was like 1,000 pounds of bricks on my chest. I couldn't breathe. And I remember like I saw black, and then a faceless angel came to take my hand. And the angel was like, we got to go. And the angel was huge and like a white gown. And my spirit came out of my body and I oversaw the wreck and everything. And I remember not wanting to leave, like, oh, I can't leave my family. And then we popped into heaven and I saw my grandparents, Hank and Audrey. And I saw Merle Kilgore, who was my dad's manager for many years and a great artist, songwriter himself. And I saw Johnny Cash and June Carter. And there were some other people sitting there and they were singing and laughing and smiling and all young. And then I saw a gold mansion. It looked like it was made up of like gold and diamonds, just glistening, and things like are animated and move in heaven too. And I saw streets of gold, and I heard amazing music, like thousands and thousands of voices harmonizing, nothing you hear on earth. And everything was just like beautiful and happy. And I was very happy there. I didn't want to come back. But and you don't talk in heaven either. You talk telepathically. And I saw my grandparents, and they were walking up to me. He had on a white suit and a white cowboy hat. She had on red lipstick and a navy and white polka dot dress. And they just gave me a big hug and had huge smiles on their face. And I remember my grandfather was like, you're going back. And he put his arm around my grandmother, and they disappeared. And then I came right back to Earth.
And then you had like over 30 surgeries or something?
33, yeah. And they didn't know if I'd ever walk again. I'm the bionic woman basically from the waist down. They kept trying to save my hips and everything. Eventually I had to have a hip replacement because this bone was not growing back. But a lot of the surgeries I was a guinea pig for, and my bones kept shifting and the metal kept shifting. So that's why there were so many surgeries. And they had to treat my ruptured colon first because you don't want to go septic.
Yeah.
And then the third day in surgery, they said I had a blood clot and they had to shut it down, and it was like touch and go for a few hours. They said I died again then, but I don't remember having an experience then. But I remember when I woke up, there was a team of doctors standing around me just staring down at me, and I felt like I was on Saturday Night Live or something.
That's interesting. I wonder if they were all like, is she going to live? Like, what do you think?
That's what they told my parents.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't sure if I was going to live. And then thankfully my surgeon in Nashville was like, I didn't tell you, but I didn't know if you'd ever walk again or not. And
I think it's better to not know some stuff like that.
Me
because
too.
then you have optimism and hope.
And like, I didn't realize how bad my injuries were. Like, I thought I was just going to get right back to life, but no, that was not the case.
So when did you feel like, fast forwarding, you started to feel some psychological ramifications from the trauma of all of that?
Well, from March to September of 2006, I could not walk. I was like bedridden, and I went from a wheelchair to walker to a crutches. And then that happened 3 different times because a metal would shift or something, and then I'd have to go back to square one and back to surgery, and they'd have to try something else. But no, I started feeling the mental ramifications right away.
And how did that possess itself or show itself?
Like I was I've always been a positive person, and I would like meditate and I would envision myself walking and stuff. But all those, drugs and painkillers and all that stuff just like really messed up my head and made me very depressed.
Yeah. I can imagine so.
Yeah.
Especially 3 times going through this. I can't imagine.
Because I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm like doing well. And then it's like back to square one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after the 3rd time, I'm like, I wonder if you're like, how many more times?
Yeah. Well, yeah, my surgeon wanted to try like another surgery. He had done a 10-hour surgery on my left leg, like trying to save the bone. It just was not growing back. And I was 27 at the time. They didn't really want to do hip replacement, but I said, I'm tired of being a guinea pig. Just like give me the hip replacement.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have to have any more surgeries on the left side. But it took 5 years for my femur to heal. And one of my plates was supposed to last a lifetime, and it snapped in half while I was walking. And
I thought that stuff's titanium.
Yes, it's titanium.
Man.
And he gave me the piece. Like, I feel like I need to turn it into artwork or something.
That's a little weird. But
he said because this hadn't fully filled in, like the bone took the brunt of it. So he put 2 plates and screws in here, and they're still in my leg.
So you're done with surgery now?
Yeah. I mean, eventually I might have to have another hip replacement, but
like a grandma one or something.
Like a what?
Like a grandma one.
Yeah.
Like down the road.
Yes.
I feel like they're not that uncommon in elderly people.
But I had amazing surgeons. Like, God just put amazing doctors and people in my life to help me through the whole experience. And I had amazing physical therapists too that Vanderbilt set me up with.
Heck yeah. They're rock stars.
Yes.
Do you remember having your first panic attack? Because you said
no.
that you remember like the anxious stuff in like high school or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't remember the first one, but I just remember like my chest tightening and getting like clammy and everything. And
then post all of this trauma, you just were getting them.
Yeah.
And were they escalating?
Yes, they were escalating. Mm-hmm.
How often would you have one?
A few times a week.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's
like,
terrible.
I remember I had one on an airplane. I was like flying up to Chicago, and I was like freaking out. I just had to calm myself down.
Did you learn like deep breathing and stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
At that point.
And I was like doing talk therapy, and she was, helping me with all that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then your friend told you about neurofeedback.
Yes. Well, my sister.
Oh, your sister.
Yeah.
Your sister.
And then she knew the lady that owns the neurofeedback company.
Okay.
And actually, well, Amy Grant was the first one that told me about a form of it. It was called
Vince told me about.
Brain Institute or
Yeah,
something.
that's down in that's down near where they live somewhere.
I went to one, it was like off Music Row, and I did 10 sessions with that company.
Okay.
And it helped a lot too. It was
Because she was
great.
in that gnarly accident
Yes.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Was she doing it?
No, this was way before
Oh, it
her
was
accident.
before?
Her niece had been doing it. She was the one that told me about it.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
But I don't know why. Well, no, I did 10 sessions and they said, your brain's good and calm, and I don't know.
So the neurofeedback, will you tell us a little about what that is for people that don't know?
Yeah.
Or your experience?
My experience is it puts, like, my brain waves were all in the wrong places, and it just puts your brain waves in the right places. And
how do they do it?
they clip these metal sensor things on your ears, and then wherever you're having issues, they put the two, I don't know what you call those things.
Little diodes or something?
Yes.
Do you wear a helmet?
No, for the scan you do. And they
Okay.
put all this gel and your hair gets all messy, but that they're trying to figure out like where your issues are. And then they put the little reading things on your brain, and then you just listen to musical tones. And I always fell asleep, and it's 30 minutes long.
Yeah, and it's basically, from what I understand, it reacts off of your brain activity.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you watch stuff as well?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
So this was completely sonic.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I mean, you can have eyes open and watch Netflix, or you can do eyes closed, but I
Okay.
like the eyes closed and just zoning out.
And it's non-invasive,
Mhm.
which I think is good for people to know.
Yeah.
And especially for trauma, anybody that's experienced trauma, neurofeedback's been one of the things that I've heard over and over that's recommended.
Mm-hmm.
So you did neurofeedback, and you said 120 sessions,
Mm-hmm.
8 scans.
Yes.
Somewhere in there, you were
8 to
saying?
9, yeah.
Okay.
I stopped neurofeedback 2 years ago because I felt I was in a good place.
Yeah.
I started in 2019, but then COVID happened. The office was like shut down for a while. And I was like, oh no, all this work I'm done. I hope my trauma doesn't come back.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you feel like it, like when you, because from what I understand, it's rewiring neural pathways.
Yes.
So when you did 20, do you feel like whatever rewiring happened there stayed?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you feel a difference after the first 20?
I did, yeah. And I went at it hard because I was going like 3 times a week.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When did you see your panic attack stop? If they did, that was an assumption.
Well, they had stopped even before I started doing neurofeedback.
Okay.
'Cause I learned how to like talk myself through it and the breathing and everything. And I was taking different vitamins to help me.
Okay.
Mm.
So you were already into the supplementation,
Yes.
talk therapy, learning
Mhm.
the cognitive behavioral things that you can do
Yeah.
to chill yourself out when
Yeah.
you feel it coming on.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then what would you say you felt like the neurofeedback did the most, that you afterwards in hindsight would go back and say like, you're going to feel this way afterwards?
It helped with my anxiety and my depression and emotional state.
Like stability?
Yeah, stability. It stabilized everything.
Mm.
I feel like I would just like cry a lot and cry easily, and it's really cool because like they point out the different sections, like where it improved or where it didn't improve, and like what areas you have anxiety and depression. Like I love how they like pinpoint every little thing.
Yeah. Was your family supportive of all of that?
Oh yeah, very.
Because obviously your sister told you.
Yes.
Had she done it as well?
No, she hadn't done it, but her husband did it for a year.
Okay.
And it helped him tremendously. At first he thought, this is snake oil, like you listen to musical tones, what is that gonna do? you know? But I can't remember how many he did, but I know he did it for a year. Maybe I think he did 60 sessions maybe.
Okay.
But it helped calm his brain down too.
Yeah. I really want to do it.
Yeah.
And then you did the SPECT scan.
Mm-hmm.
with the Amen Clinic. So I feel like Dr. Daniel Amen's gotten more famous, probably because he's scanned celebrities' brains.
Yeah.
I've seen Justin Bieber's, like one of his patients, I think,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Miley Cyrus, or at least they were.
Yeah.
The Kardashians have done their
Yep.
brain scan things. I watched yours.
Mm-hmm. I heard about Dr. Amen over 10 years ago because a friend of mine's son went to one of his clinics in Florida.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I always like wanted to go, but I just thought it was going to be like insanely expensive. So I never called, but it's not at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like 50 grand, like a rehab, you know, but it's 5,000.
Yeah, it's $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the two scans, then a super long visit,
Mm-hmm.
and then another follow-up.
Yeah.
I think.
And they recommended a hyperbaric chamber for me, and I'd been doing some of that anyways. And they said, if you can afford it, it's just better if you can like have one at your house. And I got one, and I'm noticing a massive difference.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How often do you go in it?
Like 2 to 3 times a week.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They told Haley that she should do it for her to wake up her like prefrontal cortex or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah.
All those doctor-y terms.
Yeah.
They're hard
I
to...
I can't remember all the doctor-y terms, but it's helping me a lot with my inflammation and pain.
That's great.
It just like it's taking it all down.
And I don't like to talk about me too much on my podcast, but I did do the Amen Clinic. My wife did it, and the whole SPECT scan thing, which they take pictures of your brain and you can see it in the 3D, is what you've done as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go on, for those listening and watching, and actually just like YouTube, search on YouTube, Hilary Williams, Amen Clinic.
Yep.
And
Hilary
watch
with 1 L.
Yeah, not 2. Which is cool because it sets you apart. I like that.
Yeah, my mom said when I was about 10, she thought about changing my name to 2 L's with Hilary, but then she kept meeting all these Hillarys with 1 L, and then she didn't change it. So I'm glad she didn't.
Yeah. I was born Stephen, then they changed it PHAN.
Okay.
And turned me into Stephen.
Okay.
My dad wanted me to be Stephen.
Okay.
But my whole life they still call me Stephen.
Okay.
Even if it's spelled right.
Okay.
But I mean, Hilary with a 1 L that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's hip.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you did the brain scan thing. I've experienced it. It changed my life. For me, I hadn't done any neurofeedback. I did a little EMDR, which is another therapy. But and I've done talk therapy for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm on the same page with you in terms of the idea of the betterment of the brain.
Yes.
And the whole, like, not just the brain, but the body.
Oh, I did some brain spotting during my talk therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a form of, I heard it was like EMDR
yes,
kind of.
I did too. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
My wife did that once too. Did that help you?
Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah.
Yeah. All that stuff. Like, people think it's gimmicky, but it works.
No, it works.
And most of us, I feel like, have some kind of trauma, some way in some sort. And I was talking to Haley yesterday about alcoholism, and I was like, if there wasn't what there is today, no wonder there was so many alcoholics like back in the day. That's like all you had available to you. Which is funny to me. But I was thinking, like, especially so where we're at in Springfield, post-Civil War, there was no horses or like cattle, I guess. Everything had gotten eaten, but there was corn. And they were like, how can we make money? And they started making whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
And Tennessee whiskey was born really out of the post-Civil War lack of livestock, which is just interesting how the people here took something that was just a product and figured out how to make like world-class Tennessee whiskey. I mean, it's known all over the world, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, man, I see why everybody would be an alcoholic, like, or why it was such a big deal that they did prohibition because of issues with alcoholism. And anyway, to come back to the psychology thing, it's not just like taking a pill and having all your problems go away. It's a lot of work. And so you've put in a lot of work. What has the Amen Clinic done for you that was different maybe from the neurofeedback side?
Like I love that 3D brain imaging, seeing that was very interesting. And then them suggesting the hyperbaric chamber for me and different supplements.
Yeah, they didn't have the hyperbaric thing in the video.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm glad that you told me that.
When my brain had shrunk, I had enlarged visceral veins in the back, and I had a traumatic brain injury, and there was. But
she was like, your brain looks really good for what you've been through.
Yes. She said, I can tell you've done the work and your brain is resilient. That's what she said.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised because you'll see people's like blood flow on it and it'll look like a hole.
Oh, yeah. They said my blood flow was good.
Yeah.
Oh, they told me I had a left indention in my brain. And I remember in the wreck, like I hit the left side of my head really hard.
Okay.
And I always thought I had a traumatic brain injury, but I was never diagnosed with it until now. So I learned that from the Amen Clinic. But I thought
it gives you a better understanding.
Yes.
Of what's going on in there.
Yes.
That's cool. Have you been able to, because I saw the picture with you on your Instagram of you and Dr. Amen. And I think it was for an event here.
Yes. That was the charity event I sang at.
Yeah. And
that was the first time I met him, but I haven't talked to him since then or anything.
But I watch his stuff here and there and I'm like, you're too extreme for me right now. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what's the number one, like, most helpful thing that you would say to someone that's struggling with mental health? And I know a lot of people that listen are musicians. We have a lot of songwriters that listen to the podcast, a lot of people that are younger or they came out here to pursue a dream, and it can be defeating and tumultuous. What's something that you would go back and tell the younger version of yourself to help with the mental health side?
I would tell myself, like, don't have any shame going to get therapy or help with your issues. Like, just don't have any pride about it. There's nothing shameful about getting help.
Would you start with therapy? Like, let's say you're under your parents' insurance still, or you have health insurance and it covers therapy for you. Like, but they couldn't afford neurofeedback because that's out of pocket.
Yeah. I mean, if you could afford it, I would do neurofeedback because that's more thorough. And then you know what's going on with your brain and everything. But if you can't afford neurofeedback, I would definitely start with talk therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're really getting me motivated to do neurofeedback. The depression stuff's real, though. I mean, it's no joke. Yeah. I was talking to my therapist about it, and she was like, it'll take one thing that requires like 3 things and turn it into 300. Like getting out of bed and taking a shower. Yeah. It'll be like, that's so overwhelming.
And then, like, when I was young, my blood sugar was like running for some reason, like in the 200s. And I was reading, like, if your blood sugar runs higher, that causes depression. And then I had endometriosis really bad for decades of my life. But now I'm like, learning that all these things cause depression.
Interesting.
And stuff. Yeah.
I don't think it's something to be ashamed of.
No.
I would bet you, I mean, I talk on this podcast and stuff, but I lost my parents the last 2.5 years separately. They were divorced. And then we had a kid at the same time. And there's just been a lot of stuff that's been gnarly for me. And people know my story. But I would say, like, there are some days that I'm, like, severely depressed. And I'm just, like, also severely gracious on myself at the same time. Yeah. Because I'm like, it's okay to feel this way. Yeah. But I'm also proactive, which I think is the important thing, which you touched on. Is like, hey, don't be afraid to go and have a conversation. Yes. Because just talking about it sometimes can take the power away from it, especially if you've been hiding it.
Because then you feel like you have, like, straight jacket emotions, like you're all caught up in your body,
Yeah.
And then when you just surrender and talk about it, it just like lifts that weight off.
Yeah, 100%. What do you feel like? I feel like everyone has one of these. If you have one and you want to share it, your inner critic or negative core belief about yourself would be?
I think the usual, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
I guess that would be it.
I think that is the usual. Yeah, you aren't good. You aren't good enough. I feel like is what a lot of people say. Mm-hmm. The imposter syndrome.
Yeah, imposter syndrome.
Or like I'm a failure, which I feel like goes with you're not good enough.
Yeah.
They're like kind of best friends.
Mm-hmm.
That one to me is, I think, and they're both like kind of saying the same thing. Do you feel like, because you've done a lot, like you're a musician, you write songs, you put out a book, and your record came out in 2018?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you've done a ton of interviews, you go places, your dad's been in the spotlight. I mean, you have a really interesting story. Do you feel like you were always in the shadows of your dad's career?
Yeah, at times, my sister and I, they wanted us to be these like wild hell-raising girls. Like our music, they offered us record deals like a long time ago, but we just wanted to do our own thing and our own path, not be told like what to sing and do and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you compare yourself, like if I compare myself to my dad and grandfather, that will definitely put you down and think, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, but you just can't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was curious what it was like, just like living in that household with the legacy and all that, like what it does to you psychologically, and how if it makes you think about yourself different.
But my mom, she's an angel, and she raised Holly and I, and she's just a very normal, godly, strong woman. And so she definitely kept us grounded,
Yeah.
She didn't treat us like we're royalty or anything like that. You
know?
That's
good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think that.
But that was another thing. Like in school, my dad, I don't know if you were living here when Starwood Amphitheater was around, but it was this amphitheater outside of Nashville, and big concerts were there every summer. My dad would play every Memorial Day weekend, and kids would always ask me for tickets, or I'd be called Bo C. Fed or Hank or some kind of nickname. So that gave me anxiety as well at school,
Like people just wanted to use you for who you
were
related to versus Hilary.
Yes. And I was so tall, some kids call me Big Bird.
Oh.
I was always so tall.
Man, I tell you, kids
are a lot going on.
They're vicious.
Yes.
I remember something from high school this girl said about me one time. I'll never forget it. And I feel like there's probably a part of me at almost 37 that's still trying to compete with that 16-year-old, or what someone said about me that didn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But
yeah,
that's interesting because I was listening to your music, and I was also watching some videos of you playing. One of them was super old with Josh Matheny.
Yes,
And I was like, oh, that's a throwback.
Gosh, I haven't seen him in years. Yes.
Yeah, he's played dobro on a lot of my stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. But he's such a great player.
Yes.
And musician. And just chill dude. But I was watching some newer stuff, and I don't know if it was Country Rebel that put it out, or is that what
I didn't.
There was a big organ in the background. Who does those videos?
Yeah, it was Country Rebel. Yeah.
I think it was that.
That was in 2018. Yeah.
But what I wanted to, that sounds about right on the timestamp. I was going to say, I feel like the way that you sang reminded me of, there was how do I put this? There was a purity to it. A purity to your music, a purity to the way you sang, and a very like storyteller-esque humanity, I guess is the way I would put it.
Thank you. My dad says that too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's like, your voice is just so angelic and pure and heavenly, and I can understand you. And he's like, your voice could like break glass. It's just so strong and clear.
Yeah, it was like almost comforting, almost like if we had church and sat down and like sang like a hymn together and you were like leading it. It was like there was something to it where I was like, it's just the singer and the song, and it just hit me that way. So I'm glad that your dad thinks the same thing.
Oh, and I forgot to say earlier, when our wreck happened, my attorney was in LA that day shopping for me a pop record deal.
Oh, no way.
The day our car accident happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, God had different things in store.
Yeah.
What have you learned about?
I was probably protected from a lot.
Oh, for real? Yeah, but this Diddy stuff, shoot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
when
out
I
of
was
there.
young, I wanted to be Sheryl Crow, like big pop star. I loved Sarah McLachlan, Jules, Sheryl Crow, like that whole 90s rock thing,
Yeah. Do you like the fact, though, that you can be around people that are super successful or famous or whatever, or like, your dad did a song with Post Malone and there's a picture of you in Post, and but you also get extreme level of autonomy and being able to go out in public and do your thing.
Yeah, I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get the best of both worlds.
So you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
What is that like for you?
And that, like, I had gone to BMI Awards that night, and I just ran into Post at this private party at Losers. Like, I didn't know he was going to be there, but he was so nice. And I didn't know he had my grandfather tattooed on his thumb.
Oh, no way.
And he said, look, I have your grandfather right here.
Oh, that's special.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be so many stories that you've been told about how your grandpa influenced people.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like he's been in every other country song,
Oh, yeah.
like his name, or in every shirt on Broadway that they sell.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
It is.
Do you feel like you have to do something to carry on the legacy?
No. I mean,
there's no pressure.
No pressure. No. But I love singing my grandfather's songs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them was a cover of.
House of Gold. Yes.
Yeah. I watched that whole thing.
I remember when this is random, but when I was in third grade, my dad had just won Entertainer of the Year again. And my teacher made me get up in front of the class and read the whole article from the newspaper. And I remember being like so scared and terrified because I was already a shy kid. Oh, my mom told me she was very shy and had anxiety issues. So I just remember
we're connecting dots.
Yes.
We're connecting
and
dots.
I didn't know that could be tested.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Oh, but one thing, I don't know if you've had like genetic testing done.
I have.
So I have the MTHFR gene.
Oh.
And
so you're taking the MTHFR5.
Yes.
What's it called?
Yeah.
The supplement.
Yes,
I forget.
The supplement. And I was never a big drinker anyways, but like even if I had one drink, I just felt horrible.
Yeah.
And
it's
now
a folic acid.
Stopped
it's
it.
how your body metabolizes folic acid.
Yes. And I've done the methylation stuff with like functional medicine doctors, but I just don't feel well on alcohol.
Yeah. I stopped drinking about 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
But it was after my Amen Clinic visit that I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years ago. But I've tried to take better care of my brain. But I tried the supplement route first, but it didn't work for me. But I had already been on pharmaceuticals since I was a teenager.
Okay.
On and off. Guessing, by the way, like all the guesswork they put into throwing pills at you.
Yes.
Like you said, Xanax gave you a stomach ache.
Was it Lexapro? Is that the antidepressant? Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. It's the SSRI.
Yeah. So when I was bedridden at my mom's house, I was so depressed. I was like, I got to have something. And I was on that for 6 months. But then I was completely numb. And then I started having really dark thoughts. And I'm like, I can't do this.
Did it make things worse?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I had suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. I tried a couple SSRIs and they gave me suicidal thoughts too.
Yeah.
Which is so weird, by the way, because it's all chemicals in your brain, but it affects your complete reality.
Yes.
Like your outlook on everything.
Yes.
And it's so weird and confusing and complicated that our whole outlook on the world and life is predicated on chemistry.
I just love all this natural stuff and non-invasive because it just makes the sun come out and the clouds go away, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what neurofeedback did for me and the Amen Clinic.
Yeah. That's the next thing on my list is neurofeedback. I was trying to get a company to do a trade for ad reads on this show.
Nice.
Because I was like, if I could do a trade, because it's not cheap.
No, it's not.
But it's also like, well, do I want to perform at my best and invest in myself? Because if I invest in my health, then I'm going to be able to get a return on that investment in the future and make more money than maybe I will if I don't do the things that are best for my health. And I'm not operating at 100% or even 90%.
Yeah.
So I feel like the investment in the health is like really important.
Definitely.
And it seems like you've done that.
Yeah. It's a shame that insurance doesn't cover it, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's just so much money made on pharmaceuticals. But the genetic testing's interesting. Will you talk a little about that too?
Yeah. My chiropractor at the time, sadly, he passed away last year of a heart attack, but I found another amazing person. But he's the one that ordered the genetic test for me. And I don't remember everything that popped up, but the MTHFR was the one I do remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who Gary Brecka is? He's like a health guru dude. He like goes on Rogan and a lot of those big podcasts. But he talks about that methylation thing a lot and the folic acid test and how it's like pretty inexpensive test to find out if you have the genome or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't done it. I did.
It's not expensive.
My gene test I thought you were referring to was like what your for me it was to see what my body worked with on a medication side.
Oh, okay.
And it was like stay away from SSRIs. And I was like, yeah, I know, because they made me super depressed.
Oh, okay.
And then it was like, these would work for you. This wouldn't work for you. And that's what it was for.
Oh, yeah. The Amen Clinic said I could do that, but I haven't done that.
So that's more that route, the pharmaceutical route, not the...
this was the
because there's a
vitamin,
chiropractor.
Right.
Yeah. And they'll be like, your diet works better if you are... if you don't intermittent fast. Or like there's like all kinds of information that it gives you. Or at least the one that I saw that he did.
Yeah.
Was yours pretty like intense and like long pages of?
Oh yeah. And then he like, it was like gibberish because he like put it through this program and then the program, said what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. They just started doing that at a chiropractor here in Springfield. And it was, it's kind of cool. I haven't done it, but I saw the report and I was like, wow.
The best vitamins I've found is that my chiropractor now turned me on to is Optimal Health Systems.
Okay.
They're made from whole foods and they play healing frequencies while the vitamins are being made.
What?
And I feel a huge difference on them. And they're not expensive. They're like very reasonable.
That's a brand, right? Optimal
it's a brand.
Health?
Yes.
I think I have their whey protein.
Oh, OHS. Oh, the birthday cake one?
No, it's not that flavor.
Okay.
It's chocolate.
Oh, yeah. That one's good too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like whey isolate.
Uh-huh. That's the one I have. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good for traveling if you're trying to get in your protein.
Mm-hmm. And I just started creatine. That's helping me a lot.
Yeah. That 5 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's talk. I don't know a lot about it.
I feel like I'm all over the place.
No, me too. That's why, that's just why it's conversational. I told you, and for those listening, I told Hilary, she's like, what are you going to ask me? And I was like, we're just going to talk like we were sitting in a corner booth at a coffee shop, getting to know each other, and I'm asking her questions. The creatine thing's interesting. because there are all of these studies on it now.
Yeah. Well, and then another thing, like going back to my wreck, they would not let me take vitamins when I was in the hospital. They said it could like mess up things. And then I was having horrible knee pain and back pain for years. And a friend of mine was like, you need to go see a holistic doctor. And I did. And she said, if you don't go see a chiropractor and get a shoe lift, you're going to have major back surgeries down the road, because when they put my hip replacement in, it made my left leg longer, and my surgeon thought when my femur filled in, it would fill in lengthwise with bone, but it filled in widthwise. And so I have a leg discrepancy. But
can you feel it when you walk? When you walk? Well, it was about going to the chiropractor because you went to a holistic person. You couldn't take vitamins.
Oh, yes. And then, yes. Also at the hospital, they said you can never see a chiropractor. It's going to really mess you up. So I was like terrified for years after the wreck to go see one. But the chiropractor I had, he was amazing. And then I met my new chiropractor at his celebration of life, and she's wonderful. And she does the applied kinesiology too.
What's that?
Where they muscle test, and then she has these like little tubes, and she can figure out like what's going on with your body and genetic SNPs, and then she pairs you up with the vitamins to take to help heal your body and repair everything.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So do you feel like super energetic?
Yes, I feel like Wonder Woman now.
I bet.
Yeah. It's the best I've felt in my entire life. Like, I feel better now than I did in my 20s.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, and I have an infrared sauna too. That helps a lot as well.
Yeah. Did you get it at Costco by chance?
I have a Sunlighten. I got it like 9 years ago.
Because those red light stuff, is that what it is? It's red light?
No, mine's not red light. I have a separate red light. Well, it is infrared, but I have a separate red light I use too.
Yeah, because the red light, I did a red light bed for a little while, and I could feel like a little like tingle.
Yeah,
I do like 20 minutes.
Those, yeah.
So you're basically a biohacker.
Yes, I
you
am.
Legit like you are biohacking. Mm-hmm. Have you? So here's a question that I'm curious about. Have you had a nutritionist go through on a dietary level with you what you should and shouldn't eat and all that stuff?
Yeah, my chiropractor does that with me, basically. Mm-hmm. But I've had that with nutritionists too. That's
something I want to do. Mm-hmm. But I hate cooking.
You hate cooking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I'm on the go so much, I just don't eat. And then when I do, I just eat like, I just drink a lot of caffeine to suppress my appetite.
Okay.
Are you a caffeine person?
Green tea is my caffeine. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you should get these pills by OHS. They're called Neuroflow.
Okay.
And they have like green tea in them and all these functional mushrooms. And when I take them, it like completely turns my brain on in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Because,
amazing.
I have a lot of lethargy in the morning right now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I do too.
It's hard to get out of bed and sometimes, but I'm like, man, I don't know if this is just like trauma, overwhelmed, what it is, you know? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I need something else because I'm drinking caffeine. Like last night, I drank caffeine at 9:30 and then I went to bed. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't even affect me that much.
Yeah.
I can drink a lot of it. But I don't know. It's probably not healthy.
Well, you need to eat. That's not healthy.
I know. I know.
And you can make simple meals. It doesn't have to be all elaborate.
Yeah, it's just so overwhelming.
You can just bake some salmon and some asparagus and sweet potato.
Yeah. I'm super weird about salmon.
Okay. Or whatever.
Because I don't want it. If it's farm raised, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want the wild stuff.
Yeah, I want the wild stuff too.
But it's hard to find it here. Yeah. At least at Kroger. Mm-hmm. When I was in California, I could find it everywhere. Mm-hmm. But here, it's more landlocked. I don't feel like we get the fresh fish. Like, you have to go to like fancy restaurants to get. I guess I could order it.
Yeah. You totally can order it.
You're like a walking health biohacked woman that's done it all. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
there's great fish companies. You can get the wild fish and everything. They send it to you frozen.
do you do that?
I've done it. Yeah.
You've done it?
Man. I love cod. That's my favorite.
I like that.
And like,
because it's not too
halibut and
they're
New Zealand
light
roughy.
and flaky.
Yeah.
Not too fishy.
Yes.
I don't like the too fishy ones.
I don't either.
I feel like I need to go to you for all my health needs because you have connections to all the like places I should order food from and everything. I do want to talk about your the music side a little bit, if you're cool going there, just because it's just interesting. I would hate to say this, but I'm going to say it because it's probably how you've been identified forever. Because if I said, I'm going to have, if my dad was still here, I would be like, I'm having Hilary Williams on the podcast. And you'd probably say, who's Hilary Williams? And I'd be like, it's Hank Williams Jr.'s daughter. And he would be like, what? Like, and I'm sure that your entire life it's been like you were saying when you were a kid and your dad would play on Labor Day or what?
Memorial Day. And his birthday's May 26th, and he always like played around his birthday.
Oh, yeah. See, and then people probably always referred to you as that. Yeah. And so like I feel bad even just like saying that, but it's just the truth and transparency, and it's probably something you've had to come to terms with is being known as the daughter of Hank Williams
it still
Jr.
happens to this day.
Yeah.
When I'm out, you know.
And I guess does it bother you, or are you cool with it?
No, I'm cool with it. As long as people are cool, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like get to your dad through you and like weird things.
Yeah, that's happened in the past.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that's a hard thing is to know who your real friends are.
One of my friends, I didn't tell him, who my family was for a year. He had no idea.
So that's a real friend
that,
right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I have a friend like that I met, and I didn't know about his family, and I just found out because of an article online who he's related to, but he never even told me. But I was like, I'm actually glad I didn't know that because I think I may have viewed him a little different, or acted different, and I think he liked me for being me. Yeah. And you probably liked your friend for being.
Well, my late sister, Katie, sadly, she died in a horrible car accident in 2020. And her husband survived. And thankfully, the kids weren't in the car. But long story short, she didn't tell her husband when they were dating at the time, like who our dad was. And she said, hey, my dad's got to go to work, pack a bag. You're coming with me. And he was like, okay. And he had no clue, like, what they were doing. He didn't know about dad or anything. So he comes and like brings the bag and shows up, and like they're getting on a private jet and they fly to a show, and he sees, my dad play. And I thought that was hilarious that she did that.
Oh, that's awesome. Does your dad has a jet?
Yes.
Does he fly to B&A? Does he live here, or where is he?
No, he doesn't live here. He has a place in Paris, Tennessee, outside of Troy, Alabama, and he got remarried 2 years ago. So he's been living in Tuscaloosa, Alabama as well. Okay. And he has a place in Montana. Okay.
That's good.
Yes.
It's good to put your money in assets.
Yes. I was so glad he bought land in Montana in the 70s.
Oh, how many acres?
It was a lot. I can't remember. One of the ranches he sold a few years ago to a dear family friend in Wisdom, Montana, but he still has his place outside of Hamilton, and then he has a gun shop in Victor, Montana. But I didn't know Yellowstone was filmed there, because when I was watching the show, I was like, God, that looks like where my dad's house is. And then I found out they filmed in Darby, which is just like right down the road.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, no wonder it reminded me of my dad's place.
Yeah, I would just, I put in my wedding vows that we'd retire in Montana.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it there. Yeah, he was the 80s or 90s when he bought in the Bitterroot Valley.
Someone smart was like giving him advice to like buy up stuff.
He has great friends in Montana. And when COVID happened, like all these people from California were calling my dad's office, like trying to buy the land. And my dad's gun guy was like, it is not for sale. Quit calling here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you sell it, you want it to be a local that like
Yes.
loves it and represents the land well. Did you watch Yellowstone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I loved it. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Me too.
But I feel like it ended too abruptly.
I know. Well, I didn't start watching it till 2018 because a friend of mine was like, "You've got to watch this show. You're going to love it." And then I was addicted.
Yeah. It's so well written. What's a weird story? Like one of the ones that stands out.
I'm trying to think.
They're like stalkery.
I mean, I've had stalkers in the past.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And are they stalkers because of your relationship to your family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Is that a Rolex?
No, it's a Timex.
Oh,
It looks like a Rolex.
I was going to say, it's an Oyster Perpetual.
But I thought it was so cool with the heart and the mother of pearl.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, is that super rare one?
I mean, the lady that did this watch, she did a collab. She's a fine jeweler in LA. She did a collab with Rolex, and then she did it for Timex.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Timex makes great watches.
Mm-hmm.
I love watches.
Me too. I had some Rolexes, but they quit working on me, and I just sold them. They wouldn't keep time.
Would you wind them and they wouldn't keep time?
Yes.
Were they like speeding up and slowing down?
Yes. It's like my body would just shut down the watch or something.
That's no good.
But I have some tag watches I like as well.
My pride and joy is my Omega.
Nice.
But my dad bought it and it's going to be my son's one day. And that's why it's kind of going to be like a special watch that'll
I love that.
be, passed down. We went to Rolex that day in Green Hills.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we don't have watches. And then we went to Omega and they were so nice. And they're like, would you like sparkling water or regular water? And the customer service was killer. And then I learned about their movements and then I got super geeked out on watches. And now I'm like super deep into.
I love Panerai watches.
Oh, yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what the women's ones look like.
I don't either. My dad has a Panerai watch.
Yeah, those are cool. They're definitely a unique style that they came up with. I feel like the watch face. What's a cool thing that you like about your dad outside of his musicianship?
I love his love of hunting and fishing and the outdoors. He said that's his happy place, like being outside, and that grounds him being in the woods. Well, he's basically forest bathing, That's biohacking.
Yeah.
Getting in the woods. That's what they call it now, like forest bathing. When
really?
You're in the woods.
That's the thing? So how often is he forest bathing?
Well, he was just last week turkey hunting.
So pretty often?
Yeah.
Does he have a lot of dates? Is he still out like playing a lot? Or
he just started back up this summer. It's like 20 to 30 a year now.
That's a good number.
Yeah. And
then go chill.
Yeah.
Do you guys do a lot of family stuff?
Flies in and out. No, not tons of family stuff. But we always have to go to him because we don't know where he's going to be,
Yeah.
He had a house in St. George Island on the beach, but he sold that a few years ago, but it was really nice.
What the heck?
It was right on the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, man. If I was going to live anywhere,
or Gulf
of
America now.
Oh, Gulf of America. Yes. GOA.
Yeah.
Well, let's, I watched an interview with you and they said, what would you have gone back and said to the younger version of yourself? I think that was a question. Do you remember what I'm talking about? You're sitting on a stage, you're answering questions, and they're like,
on a stage.
What would you tell the younger you? And the question I have been asking, but my wife doesn't want me to ask it, but I like it, is if you were if basically everything went away and you left one piece of wisdom with mankind, with humankind, it was going to go throughout the generations, what would it be? That's my favorite question. There's just other people that ask it on podcasts, but I'm going to ask it to you because I like that question.
And I've said this before and I truly believe it, but mine is don't sweat the small stuff. And I feel like, well, there's more to that. I'm trying to think right now. I don't know, just and value the important things in life instead of material things. You know, my life was like almost ended so quick, and thank God I got a second chance. And you know, just like really value your family and your friendships and not so much materialistic things and ego-driven things.
I like that.
Just be more heart-centered and mindful. Would be my advice.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, life's short.
Yeah. Instead of like trying to be successful and get all this money and fame and recognition, like value the things that truly matter, you know?
Yeah, like the here and now.
Be present.
Yeah, having my little guys change that for me.
I bet. Yeah.
Like just enjoy like rocking him to sleep and try to like not let my brain go elsewhere, but be like, I'm holding my little dude right now.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And I think that's like what you said is a reminder to me and something I have to keep telling myself. Do you find like you have to keep telling yourself that?
And not to like doom scroll either, like get on social media and just to distract yourself, you know?
Yeah. That's a good piece.
Then you're just missing life around you.
Yeah. I love that. You should be out forest bathing.
Yes.
Learn my new term. I need to take some new supplements and I need a forest bathe.
And a sound bath.
And, oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick because you're certified in that. What does that do?
So I got my diploma. It was a 13-month-long process. I didn't plan on doing it. I just started going to sound baths for 8 years ago. And I just felt a difference. Like it just totally calmed me down and helped my pain. And I really started listening to them when COVID happened in 2020 online, like people, you know, do them and everything. Well, I started listening to Sarah Oster, her sound baths. And then
what is a sound bath?
So it's someone that plays a crystal alchemy bowl and they're tuned to different notes and frequencies. And so you're just playing the different bowls with the notes and making beautiful music. Do
you record it? Or do you do it in person?
No, I do it in person.
So would I come to like a sound bath class?
Or I do privates at my house.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
That's word of mouth only, the privates.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to just have whoever over.
But I'm looking for a space right now to do public sound baths.
I know of one.
But
in Goodlettsville, but that's far.
Yeah, that's far. A friend of mine lives in Goodlettsville.
Yeah, there's like the perfect spot that I thought would be a great yoga studio. But it would be perfect for a sound bath thing too.
Yeah, my friend, he had a event at his farm in Goodlettsville 2 years ago, and he had my teacher Casey there doing a sound bath, and there was only 4 of us. And she said, "Would you like to play one of my bowls?" I said, "Yeah, I would love to." And she had met me 10 years ago, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you're a natural. I teach sound healing with the Sound Healing Academy in London, and my class is in 2 weeks and you should sign up for it." I was like, okay. And so I was just going to do level 1. And then she's like, "No, you need to do level 2. That's a lot more thorough. And then you can start charging people and everything."
Does it get into frequencies? So,
yeah,
because everything's a vibration. Yeah. One of my favorite songs is Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys.
Oh, yeah.
And it took on a new meaning when I actually learned like everything's like kind of a vibration, even though it sounds super woo-woo.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian and like have faith, too. But I also believe that everything, it's like science.
Yes.
So it's not weird to think of the fact that God created it and music heals, and so to...
Yeah, and sound healing was created thousands of years ago.
Really?
You know?
So there's a history of it. Do you see that like it's a different frequency for different like problems or issues? Okay.
Yep.
So if I wanted to be happier, would there be like a certain frequency that you would play? Or how does that work?
Well, it would be a certain note I would play.
A note?
Yeah, also with sound healing, like people really need to know what they're doing or you could really mess somebody up because there's harmonizing notes and then there's
Dissonant?
Dissonant, yes. Thank you.
I got you.
And you need to start with harmonizing notes because, like, if someone's been through a lot of trauma, you don't want to play many dissonant notes or that will really mess them up. So you want to start with harmonizing notes, go to dissonant notes, and then back to harmonizing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So during a session, you'll do both? Or?
Yeah, and I place my hands above your body, and then I can tell like where the energy is off. So I balance the energy in your body, and I check your chakras. I'm a Christian, but like this sound healing totally just opened my mind up. And there's your root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, and crown chakra. And then I have 8 bowls that's connected to each chakra. So say if your heart chakra felt off to me, then I would play the F note.
Is it in a certain key?
Mm-hmm.
C?
It's in no, it's in F.
It's in F?
Yes.
So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and then E?
E would be your solar plexus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that right, though? I was just going through the scale. I was looking at it on a guitar in my mind. F's a weird key to do it in.
Yeah.
That's so weird to me.
Mm.
Why they
I
would
don't
have
know
done
why
that.
they named it like that. Like B is your crown chakra, A is your third eye chakra, F is your heart, E is your solar plexus, D is your sacral chakra, and C is your root chakra.
Maybe it's in C. I don't know. Because there's a B flat and F.
Yeah. And C and G is the perfect fifth, you know?
Yeah.
If
it was in C, yes, then it would be in C.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's like a piano.
Yeah.
Same notes.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
And I got my bowls from Crystal Tones out west, and I have really great, amazing bowls made from different crystals.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you've really done the biohacking thing hardcore.
Yeah. And at the time, I didn't know I was doing that, but
yeah,
I was like, I just want to feel better and be pain-free and calm.
I think we all need a little more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we talked a lot about a lot of random things, but sometimes it goes that way.
And emotional pain can cause physical pain too.
I just got the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gotten too deep into it.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is why I like Reese's Blizzards so much right now. I was talking to ChatGPT last night and I was asking it some questions and I was like, I feel like I'm addicted to these things. Like, what is it? And then I realized this morning that me and my dad, when I was at my dad's house, we'd have Reese's together at nighttime. So then when night rolls around, there's some subconscious cue somewhere that triggers me to want to go have Reese's.
Mm.
And there's also like a nostalgia factor to it as well from being a kid. So I think that the loss and the trauma like brought out that weird thing, but it's completely subconscious or like physical or whatever it is that my body's craving it, but I couldn't tell you why. Mm-hmm. But this morning, and my therapist, ChatGPT, and me kind of figured it out.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, yeah. Anyway, I know I've taken up a lot of your time. I appreciate you coming all this way.
Yeah,
and
no
sharing cool stuff about you.
Like a couple people I love, I've been listening to is like Mel Robbins' books and Dr. Nicole LaPera.
The Let Them book?
Let Them, yes.
I read that.
Mm-hmm. I'm almost done with that. I'm reading Dr. Nicole LaPera's book, How to Be the Love You Seek.
Okay.
is really good. And then I've also bought her book, How to Do the Work.
Oh.
But I mean, I feel like I've done a lot of it anyways, but she's the holistic psychologist on Instagram, and I just love her little things she puts up.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. I like the let them because I'm an empath.
Yes, me too. Yes.
I feel like we're probably wired to kind of similarly. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. And that's why you have to like put yourself in a bubble or we'll take on other people's stuff and energies, you know?
100%. Mm-hmm. Like I feel the energy of people so significant, or rooms or environments.
Me too.
Like real hardcore. Mm-hmm. So
I love Dr. Will Cole too, all of his.
Do you like Dr. Or what's his name? The Stanford dude. Why can't I think about it? Yeah, Andrew Huberman. Have you heard of him? Mm-mm. Huberman Lab. He's a good one to check out. He's like kind of, would you say like, he brought a lot of like science to social media.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And now he's kind of become like a figure. So he's not doing the lab at Stanford that he was running as much. Mm-hmm. But now he's like, does more podcasts and things like that. He has his own podcast. Mm-hmm. But he would be a cool one to check out. Nice. I'll have to check out. What was the Instagram you said?
The holistic psychologist.
The holistic psychologist. Mm-hmm. I dig that.
And then Dr. Will Cole, he's a functional medicine doctor, but he's written books. I just bought his book, Gut Feelings.
What do you think about the carnivore diet? Do you have an opinion on it?
No. Mm-mm.
Me neither.
What is it? All meat, basically? Or
yeah. It's like a thing where people eat nothing but meat.
That doesn't seem very healthy.
That's what I thought
if it's only meat, you know.
Yeah, some people swear by it.
I feel like you need some veggies in there.
Yeah. Yeah, like some balance.
Like I noticed for me, paleo is the best. Like for me, I feel my best when I eat paleo.
Yeah. Well, there's no essential carbohydrate. Mm-hmm. That's really like essential fats and essential proteins are what we need to survive.
Yeah.
Paleo's pretty low on the carbs.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's just gluten-free, basically. Yeah. And low in carbs.
But it's like very hunter-gatherer almost.
It's tons of veggies and meat, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's carbs in veggies, but I mean, it's not like, they're complex.
Yeah.
It's not like rice or something.
Yeah.
You know? Because I don't believe rice is in the paleo.
No, it's not.
But nuts.
Yeah.
Veggies.
Yeah.
Fish. Meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in it. I love all that.
Yeah.
No dairy?
Yeah, and for paleo, yeah.
That's interesting.
But I've healed I had a lot of food allergies, but with all the vitamin methylation stuff I've done, it's healed all of that.
Did you have leaky gut? Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went on a elimination diet for that. Nice. And I had to stop eating. I don't eat gluten or eggs anymore because I had a huge egg allergy.
When I was a kid, I was sick all the time with like strep throat and earaches. And my mom took me to an allergist when I was 12 and I had the highest milk allergy he had ever seen.
Really?
Because when I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, they said, you need to be drinking 4 cups of milk a day for the calcium. And it was making me horribly sick.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. But now I've healed my milk allergy. I still don't drink it much, but sometimes I just crave it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely love dairy. I couldn't I don't know if I could give it up. Eggs was a hard one. The guy, my functional medicine doctor, was like, that's to speak of highest. Mm-hmm. Eggs was the highest he had seen.
Okay.
And I had got tested when I was young and it said eggs. But I was like, nah, like I feel fine when I eat them. Mm-hmm. But it tested 2 times and I cut it out. But my gut health's been way better.
Nice.
Since I've done that.
I love going to farmers markets too and like just getting food locally grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that when I lived in California. But I don't know, probably down where you live more,
there's
more
a lot
so.
Of farmers markets
and a lot of healthy people too. because there's different pockets of Tennessee where I feel like health is more.
That's true.
I guess accepted or sought after.
Yeah.
Like downtown's kind of turned into that more. They got the Whole Foods down there and healthy places.
Yeah.
But then when you get on the outskirts and you get into the super southern, like traditional kind of cooking, you kind of lose out on a little bit of that, you know?
Yeah.
But
I was so excited. We got a Sun Life Organics in Nashville. We have 2 locations now. It started in Malibu, California. I don't know if you ever went there.
I didn't.
But it's like just super yummy smoothies and healthy food and everything.
Oh. Where is it in Nashville?
There's one on 8th Avenue South and then one on 12th Avenue.
Okay. 12th Avenue, like in the Gulch?
No, like not the Gulch,
or
but
wait.
closer to like going towards Green Hills. They have this.
What am I thinking of? Where do all the
like
people?
Bar Taco and that area. There's this new area called Ashwood with like all these new stores coming in, and Sun Life was one of them.
Okay.
And then the one on 8th Avenue is near Carter Vintage Guitars.
Oh. I know exactly where that's at.
Yep.
I got a guitar there.
I did
My
too.
dad bought it for me.
Nice.
What did you get?
My dad got me one for my birthday. I got a Fender Telecaster, 2017.
Cool.
And it has I had never seen one with this color. It was like tobacco sunburst with a leopard looking guitar pick.
Oh, wow.
It was just super
like
groovy. Pick guard. Yeah, not guitar pick.
That is groovy.
I said that wrong.
Groovy.
But yeah, I went in there and played it and just sounded amazing. And I was like, this is my guitar.
That's sick. I love that. That's special.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Hilary, it's been awesome having you.
Thank you.
And for people that want to follow your life, what are your socials? Where should we go? And where can we go to listen to your music? My
music is on any of the streaming services.
Okay.
Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. My Instagram is Hillwill, HILWILL. And my ex is Hillwill too.
And then your book's on Audible.
Yes. It's there's a few hard copies left on Amazon. It's out of print now, but it's on Audible.
Cool. And what's your book called?
Sign of Life.
Okay. Cool.
And my Facebook page got hacked a few years ago, and I just haven't opened another one.
Yeah.
So Instagram is the best to find me.
Yeah, IG's where it's at.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good, it's almost like LinkedIn in a way. It's a good place to connect with people.
Totally.
And you can see who they are by their pictures. Almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to post more. People are like, you need to post more. I have like a love-hate relationship with social media.
If I didn't do podcasting, I would not do social media.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a second phone that has no social media on it, and I'm much happier when I'm with that.
Yeah.
You know? It's just less noisy.
I don't post every moment of my life or anything.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Let there be some secrecy.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Hilary. Well, we'll make sure to put that in the show notes so people can click below. And then, I'll be looking out for your, man, you should turn into share all this biohacking information on socials.
Well, I'm going to open another account and I have a name for it. And
you do?
I'll let y'all know in the future.
Okay.
But I think because I want to keep Hillwill all music.
I like that.
And then do this other page for the biohacking and fashion and design and different things.
That's what's up.
Oh, I actually have a degree in fashion merchandising, associate's degree.
You're like a Swiss Army knife. You're like the most interesting person I've had on.
Oh,
this is because it's there's so many interesting parts of you. Because usually it's you're a songwriter. Let's talk about songwriting or whatever. Or maybe not. Or it's more one lane. You're in a lot of lanes, which is cool because you're a complex.
Yeah.
Person.
I went to Belmont for a year, and then I went to fashion school in Atlanta.
Wow.
After high school. Yeah.
Jeez. I feel like you need to write a second book.
Yes. Belmont, was 5 minutes from my childhood home. And I was like, oh, I need a a broader experience.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of the town.
Nashville was not hip 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Broadway and all that, like, I heard it was just crazy back in the day in terms of it being so trashy.
Yeah. You could just pull up right in front of Tootsie's and leave your car and walk right in.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the stadium brought all the people.
Yeah.
And then the Nashville show brought even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic brought even more.
Yep.
And now here we all are.
Yep.
This is the Stephen Hogan Podcast.